No, I'm actually a roller coaster enthusiast, so like Kingsman, so that's actually like yeah, they bring it up. Oh yeah, that's serious. Like roller coasters, Kingsman.
So trauma to the body is what breaks the Kingsman. Yeah. So like punching it up.
It's like the rattling of the coaster.
What? What is the other part of the game?
Welcome to the Lone Star State. It's Kingsman Baseball on the air, game 1 of 4 here in this Houston non-conference trip for the Kingsman Baseball Academy. I'm Griffin Leonard saying good afternoon and welcome to the complex of USA Baseball, the home of Houston Christian High School and the home of the Bennett School. The Kingsmen battling the Rebels of the Bennett School in the first of 4 games over the next 3 days, and we have a great crowd on hand from both teams to witness it. Sunny day in Houston and a fun one coming up. We'll have lineups for you. In just one moment, the Kingsmen varsity team battling Bennett's prospect squad. We'll be right back here on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Welcome back here to Mendel Field at the campus of Baseball USA here in Houston, Texas, on the west side of the city. And the Kingsmen ready to do battle with the Bennett School. Let's walk you through the Kingsmen starting lineup here. Hitting 10, managed by Preston Hudak. Caden McNeil will be the leadoff man, followed by Dino Catani and Christian Burney in the 2 and 3 holes. Montgomery Hart, then Ashton Bowes, Harris Clark in the 4, 5, 6. Brody Winan, Eli Thomas in the 7 and 8. And then Jack Catron catching, batting 9th, followed by Logan Daniel in the 10 spot. They'll be facing Cade Bustamante, pitching for the Rebels of the Bennett School, wearing the cream jerseys with the red numerals. The Kingsmen in the blacks with the white pants. Going to be a fun one on hand today from Houston, Texas. Hot, but nothing crazy. It's in the 80s here as we get nearer and nearer to April. Bustamante, the right-hander, warming up. His infield behind him is Lonis, Eli, Hinojosa, Garcia, and Klentz. And then the outfield, Santos, Beck, and Herrera. Deep ballpark here, 400 in center field, high fences as well. The outfielders will have their work cut out for them. Kingsman in the outfield today, Dino Catani, Cade McNeil, and Brody Winan will walk you through the whole defensive alignment in the bottom of the first inning. But once again, it's McNeil, Catani, and Burney starting things off for the Kingsmen here as the away team in game number 1. One game today. We were originally scheduled for 2. The Prospect were supposed to play 3 games out here. Schedule got changed. Now it's just 2 games for either the Prospect and the Varsity teams. Prospect is off today. They'll be battling tomorrow in the second game of what's a doubleheader, with the Varsity team going first at 9:30 Central Time, 10:30 in Charlotte, and then the Prospect team to follow. Caden McNeil is going to lead things off. Starting battery one more time for the Rebels. You have Tanner Clentz behind the plate and Cade Bustamante, the right-hander, up top of the hill. Looking forward to getting this one started. Kingsman and the Bennett School. Non-conference battle begins now. Out of the windup, Bustamante's first pitch to McNeil is in there for a called strike on the inner half of the zone. Once again, the infield for Bennett. Lonas, Eli, Hinojosa, Garcia, Clentz doing the catching. 0-1 to Caden McNeil. And he chops it to the third base side. Fielded high by Lonas. He throws to first and throws it into right field. Caden McNeil tripped over first base. And he is on first here with nobody out. That ball got out of play, so he'll head to second. Error assessed to the third baseman, and then that throwing error giving McNeil the extra base. First pitch high to Dino Catani. So McNeil on second. The pitch to Catani swung on and missed, and the count is even. 1 ball and 1 strike. Nobody out here in the top of the first. The Kingsmen looking for some early offense. McNeil reaching second on the error at the hot corner. Spin, but no throw to second by Bustamante. Caden McNeil, the speedster on the base paths, would love to get on third, but he does not have the screen of a right-handed hitter. Catani batting left-hand side. Has a 1-1 count with Christian Burney on deck. 1-1 pitch. And it's a looper that's high of the zone. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pretty good Kingsman crowd on hand. The Waters, the Seminaras, the Rayleys, and a couple more families, I'm sure, scattered amongst the crowd, all making the trip down from Houston, or rather to Houston. 2-1 pitch. Catani breaks a ground ball to the first base side, but it's foul. 2-2. McNeil stayed put on second after reaching on the error. Kingsman looking for some early offense here on the road against the Bennett School. McNeil shuffles off. 2-strike pitch is skied foul, third base side and over the rafters here at Mendel Field. Catani was in the 5-hole in the P27 varsity game this last Friday. Did not have a hit in that one, but would love to start his account strong in this ball game. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bustamante fires a backdoor slider that's outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes as the count runs full. Already up to 8 pitches for Bustamante without getting an out. Catani trying to make him work. Burney is waiting on deck. The designated hitter in the 3-hole with that big bat. Would love to get a chance with a couple of guys on. Bustamante trying to beat Catani. 3-2 is high and away. Walk puts runners on second and first here in the first. The Kingsmen are threatening. They did a lot of threatening in their game on Friday against P27. In fact, in 5 of the 7 innings, they had not only a runner in scoring position, but they had multiple base runners, but were unable to find the scoreboard over the course of the 9-0 shutout loss. They can put a stamp on this first inning with a big hit here from Christian Burney. He took one in the zone. That was a meatball on the inside half to make it 0-1. McNeil has that screen now with the right-hand hitter. He's on second. Catani trailing him at first. Corners are in for Bennett with the middle infield set to roll a pair. 0-1, a big cut on the breaking ball, puts Burney behind 0-2. On deck for the Kingsmen is Montgomery Hart, the left-handed hitter, moving from first to third base after being at first in the Kingsmen's last contest.
I'm ready.
Hart's been all over the infield for the Kingsmen this season. Burney prepares, 0-2 pitch. Bustamante trying to get his first out. And that one just high of the zone. A good 0-2 take there from Burns. The count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Christian Burney might settle into this tropical heat a little easier. The Florida native will take the curveball outside. McNeil slides into third safely with the stolen base. Catani stayed put on first, so it's runners on the corners. And now a 2-2 count with nobody out. Two balls and 2 strikes. Burney was behind 0-2. He's now taken 2 pitches out of the zone in a row to bring the count to even. As the opening run 90 feet away. 2-2 pitch is popped up foul of home plate. Tell you, one guy who's sitting in the dugout hoping for an early lead is Max Raley, the right-hand pitcher out of Florence. Would love to have the Kingsmen in front by the time he steps on the mound for the first time. 2-2 pitch, runs inside. That's a fair ball. That's a fair ball. They throw home and McNeil is safe. Infield hit for Christian Burney. How often do you see that? Christian Burney didn't drop the bat down. That pitch was behind him, and it hit off of the barrel of the bat. You'd call it a swinging bunt, but he didn't swing the bat. 1-0 here in the top of the first.
Yes, sir. Come in.
Quick mound visit here for the head coach, Isa Garcia. Going to run out and have a conversation. That's actually one of the assistant coaches for Bennett, Elvin Milan, excuse me. So Bennett down 1-0 here in the top of the first inning. And the Kingsmen threatening. What a wacky situation there in the top of the first. Cannot wait to go back and watch that to see exactly where that pitch was, because Burney ducked his head out of the way. That ball was behind him, folks. But sometimes, as they say, it's better to be lucky than good. So 1-0 is the score. Still nobody out here in the top of the first, and Bustamante, 15 pitches in without an out, trying to calm down this first inning against the Kingsmen's cleanup man. Montgomery Hart has swung it well this season. Just 1 home run on the year. He had it against Combine Academy, but he's had some good barrels since then. Runners on second and first with nobody out. First pitch. And Hart took it just high of the belt, 0-1. Catani's on second. Burney is on first. The pitch to Gummy. Hart rips it. First base side and through. Collected in right field by Herrera. Catani slips around third. He had the stop sign from Hudak. And the Kingsmen have the bases loaded with nobody out as Gummy Hart keeps the train rolling. How about this Kingsman varsity team out of the gates? After suffering a 9-0 shutout loss on Friday, they open up this game with their first 4 hitters to the plate, all reaching base, 2 hits after an error and a walk. Here is Ashton Bowes to try to keep the party rolling. Nobody out bases juiced, 1-0 they lead. The first pitch from Bustamante is away from the zone outside, 1-0. The offense is here, folks. We'll see what Ashton can do. 1 ball, no strikes. Bose took a big hack but came up empty on that one in the zone, 1-1. Harris Clark is on deck, so a couple of big power bats, if they can connect, between Bose and Clark in the middle of this Kingsman order. Bustamante is 1-1. A curveball missed inside, maybe a little high as well, 2-1. Here at Mendel Field, there's a nice scoreboard in right center field, but it does not have anything on it. No staff for Houston Christian here to run the big board. 2 balls and a strike. Bose takes high. So a hitter's count for Ashton Bose. He's the extra hitter in the order today for the Kingsmen, batting 10, just as the Bennett school are on the other side of the diamond. Kingsmen up 1-0 on their Houston hosts. Bose trying to get some more. 3-1 pitch from Bustamante. Inside, and they walk a run in. Second walk of the inning for Cade Bustamante, and it is 2-0.
Fly, Harris, let it fly. Go, Harris. Big fly.
An opportunity for some more. Harris Clark, the first baseman, digs in. Still nobody out in what has already been a productive first inning for the Kingsmen. First pitch, and Harris took it on the outside corner. It's a good fastball from Bustamante to start things off against the Waxhaw native.
Go, Harry.
Corners are in for Bennett. The middle infield back. They'd sacrifice a run for a couple of outs here in the top of the first. Harris Clark takes the 0-1 just upstairs, and it is 1-1. Outfield of Santos, Beck, and Herrera haven't been tested with much. A couple of ground balls for the Kingsmen. One got through the infield, but they have not seen a ball in the air. There's a foul ball to make it 1-2. Ball bounced off the screen and rolled all the way back into the hitting circle. Brody Wynant is on deck in the 7th spot for the Kingsmen. He's had a couple of extra base hits this season. Two-strike pitch to Harris Clark, and he swings and misses at the breaking ball. One away here in the first. The Rebels retire their first Kingsman hitter.
Come, Brody.
So still the bases are loaded, but now Winan has a big job. Needs to get the ball in play for the Kingsmen here with 1 out. Bernie's on third, Hart's on second, Bose on first. First pitch from Bustamante. Once again, just as he started Harris Clark, he hits the outside corner with a fastball.
Come, Brody.
0-1 here in the top of the first. And he expands the zone with that fastball, gets the call on the outside corner. It's 0-2. Pivotal call as Winan now in an 0-2 hole and has to fight. Bustamante trying to settle in here in the first. 0-2 pitch. Goes to the breaking ball and Winan fights it off. Eli Thomas is on deck for the Kingsmen in the 8 hole. Winan, the 7th hitter of the inning for the Kingsmen. The first 5 reached consecutively. Another 0-2 pitch coming here to Brody. And Winan takes it high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bustamante lifts the leg, comes home, and spikes the curveball out of the zone, outside and low. 2-2.
Come, Brody. Let's go, man. Come on.
Pitch number 32 for Cade Bustamante. Fastball, maybe a changeup. Low regardless, 3-2. There's a full count here with one away. Big pitch to Brody Wynant with one out. And he strikes him out on the out half of the plate. 2 strikeouts in a row for Bustamante. Now Eli Thomas will try to get a couple more of these runs in. Christian Burney was standing on third with no one out here in this first inning. The Kingsmen will be happy with the 2 runs they've gotten this far.
Let's go, Eli.
But with the bases loaded, they will want some more. First pitch to Eli. Thomas takes off the plate, 1-0. Bustamante comes set at the belt, working out of the stretch despite the bases loaded. He hits the outside corner, 1-1. The outside corner has been there so far for our home plate umpire. 8th hitter of the inning for the Kingsmen. If we get one more, we'll see the 9-hole. Jack Catron, the catcher with the pads on in the on-deck circle. Ready for whatever situation he needs to move to next, whether it's at the plate or behind the plate. 1-1 from Bustamante with the bases loaded. Thomas lets it go, and the call is a strike at the knees, 1-2. In the bottom of the first, we'll see Brent Frosch, Noah Powell, and Yandel Santos. And the first 3 up for the Rebels against Max Raley. Raley's had plenty of time to rest up and be ready for his first inning. 1-2, and a poke shot foul. It remains a ball and 2 strikes. Thanks for joining us today on the Kingsman Baseball Network. I'm Griffin Leonard, as always, here from Houston, Texas. The Kingsman's first of 4 games in the southeast corner of the great state of Texas. 2-strike pitch to Thomas. And he lets it go. 2-2. Class of 2030 at the plate right now for the Kingsmen. 2-2. And that's away, maybe a couple of inches further than the last one. It's 3-2. Now the runners will have a head start. Montgomery Hart will be motoring around from second and will look to score on a base hit to the outfield. Kingsmen have 2 runs in this opening inning, looking for more against the Bennett school. 3-2 pitch. Got it in the zone, poked out to center. Going back on it is Beck, reaching up over his shoulder and makes the catch to end the inning. Thomas got good barrel on the baseball. Would have brought in a run with less than 2 outs, but back-to-back strikeouts helped the Bennett school get out of that first inning with minimal damage. 2 runs across. The Kingsmen strike first here in Houston. Raley on the mound. When we come back, it's varsity baseball here on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Bottom of the first here in Houston, Texas. The Kingsmen against the Bennett Rebels, looking to shut them down after 2 runs have given the Kingsmen the early lead. Max Raley throws his first pitch of the game to Brent Frosch, and it is off the plate, low and in. 1-0 is the count. It's Frosch, Powell, and Santos, the first 3 hitters for the Rebels. 1-0 pitch. Raley has the ball poked to the shortstop side. Logan Daniel is up with it, throws hard to first, and Clark makes the stretch for out number 1. The Kingsmen infield today. Montgomery Hart at third. Logan Daniels the shortstop. Eli Thomas is the second baseman, and Harris Clark is at first. Jack Catron squatting behind the plate for Max Raley. 1 out on just 2 pitches. Max Raley looking for some efficiency for the Kingsmen here in the ballgame. The Kingsmen are missing a few pitchers, primarily at the prospect level, but that might mean that we see a couple of arms pitch for prospect that normally would have been slated to pitch in this series. So we'll see how everything shakes out, but the Kingsmen will have to monitor pitch counts and usage somewhat meticulously. 1-0 pitch. Does not get it at the knees against Noah Powell. The extra hitter is in the 2-hole today for the Rebels. Similarly to the Kingsmen, the Rebels batting 10. Here's the 2-0. Got the top of the zone with that one, and Raley has it to 2-1. Outfield for the Kingsmen. Catania in left, McNeil in center, Wynant in right. 2 balls and a strike, 1 away. Raley out of the windup slides home and misses outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Three balls and a strike. The pitch outside and a 1-out walk. Raley working out of the stretch here with 1 away to Yandel Santos. First pitch. Just high for a ball. Max Raley pitched against the ECA Bobcats just about a week ago, last Tuesday in Goldsboro, North Carolina. Rebounded from a shaky start the time before that. Pitched wonderfully. Over 4 innings of work for the Kingsmen in that win. Fastball at the knees. That's a good pitch to even things up. 1-1. Powell is at first with the walk. He's being held on by Harris Clark, and we'll see if they test the arm of Jack Catron. Good lead off the first. 1-1 pitch. Raley fires home, and there's a ripped third base side ground ball that takes 1 hop and gets past Daniel and into left. They throw to second, and just back safely goes Powell. 1-out single for Yandel Santos, and Bennett making Raley work here in the first. It'll be Luke Beck to hit in the cleanup spot. Beck, the only 2026 grad member on this prospect team for Bennett Rebels. They have 2 teams just like the Kingsmen, but their teams, at least in their league, are at the premier and prospect levels compared to the Kingsmen's prospect and varsity, which means, if nothing else, really good competition for the Kingsmen this week in Houston. First pitch from Raley, and it's a ground ball third base side. Daniel goes to second, sidearm, and Thomas to first in time. How about that? A beauty. 6-4-3 sends us to the second. The Kingsmen on fire defensively. Raley getting some ground ball outs, and what a turn from Daniel and Thomas to get the double play. We head to the second. It's Catron, Daniel, McNeil when we return in the second inning on the Kingsman Baseball Network. To the second inning we go. 2-0. The Kingsmen lead, and it's Catron to lead things off against Bustamante. First pitch just got the inside corner. Called strike to make it 0-1. Catron, Daniel, and McNeil. The bottom of the order coming around before the top. Bustamante throws a breaking ball outside, 1-1. One ball and one strike. And the pitch from the Rebels starter is just off the plate outside. 2-1 is the count. Jack Catron, the catcher for the Kingsmen, in the 9 spot, gears up for the 2-1 pitch, and he pokes it into right center field. Coming in on it is Herrera, who has time and makes the catch for out number 1 here in the second inning. Logan Daniels, the shortstop at the bottom of the Kingsmen order, made a nice play to end the first, throwing it to second, where Thomas was able to complete the 6-4-3 double play. Bustamante has settled in pretty nicely here in the second inning after allowing the Kingsmen's first 5 hitters to reach base. He's now retired 4 straight. First pitch, Daniel pokes it off the handle to the first baseman. Garcia has it for out number 2. So 2 quick outs here in the second inning. Just 5 pitches for Cade Bustamante after he threw 40 in the first frame. Here's Katie McNeil, who reached on an error to begin the ball game. Inside, 1-0. In the bottom of the second, it'll be Isa Garcia, Tavin Lonis, and Jacob Hinoyosa. 5, 6, and 7 due up for Bennett in the home half of inning number 2. Line drive center field. Going back is Beck. That's over his head, and it one-hops off the 400 sign in center field. McNeil's gunning for third. The second baseman, Hinoyosa, throws Tony, and it's a triple with 2 outs for Caden McNeil. He got all of that one, driving it a liner over Beck's head in center. And Luke Beck got out there in a hurry, but McNeil, with so much speed, flew 270 feet for a 2-out triple. Now we'll see if Dino Catani can punch him in for the 3rd run of the game. 2 outs and a man on third. Inside, it runs in, does not hit Catani. It's 1-0. Christian Burney is on deck if the Kingsmen get another hitter to the plate in this second inning. It's been a fun start to the trip here for the varsity team here in Houston. There's a chopper first base side and foul. One. Catani pops it a mile high into shallow center. Coming in on it is Beck, and he makes the catch with that glove to end the inning. The Kingsmen have the triple but do not score. We head to the bottom of the second. Varsity Baseball returns here on the Kingsman Baseball Network. It's the bottom of the second. Max Raley back on the mound facing Isa Garcia to start things off. It's the first baseman for the Bennett School. First pitch from Raley is a breaking ball downstairs, 1-0. The Kingsmen have an early 2-0 lead, scoring a couple of runs on a single and then on the walk in the first inning. Brought in 2 runs. There's a Gummy Hart single that set up that second run after Christian Burney had one of the more unique hits of the season so far. 2 balls and no strikes here to Isa Garcia. Out of the windup, Raley's pitch. Inside corner, gets the call, 2-1. Max Raley got out of the first inning throwing just 11 pitches, aided by that ground ball double play after Santos had the base hit with 1 out. 2-1, just outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. Hitters count here for Isa Garcia, son of the Bennett School head coach, here for this prospect team. And Coach Joe Hudak going to walk out and chat with Max Raley, try to calm the waters here early in the bottom of the second. We'll step aside and be back as Kingsman Baseball Down South continues when we return on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Mound visit done. 3-1 pitch coming here from Raley with nobody out. Lonis is on deck. Max Raley, we'll see what he comes up with after the chat. And he drops one in the zone to make it 3-2. The Bennett Academy, or the Bennett Schools, rather, uniforms. A nice light cream with the red stripes running down the side. The Texan flag on the sleeve. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch. Raley just misses the outside corner, and it's a leadoff walk. Second walk of the game issued to Bennett hitters, and Lonis has the leadoff man on as Bennett tries to mount a comeback. Kingsman scored 2 runs in the first off of the Burney base hit and the Bose walk. Runner on first, nobody out. Raley's pitch hits the knees, 0-1. Nice zip on that one against Lonis, the 2027 third baseman for the Bennett School. The 1 pitch from Raley, doesn't get it on the outside corner. It's 1-1. That corner's been there for most of the game so far, but not that time for the Kingsman starting pitcher. Isa Garcia has a pretty conservative lead at first base, held on by Clark, but he breaks. Pitch low and away, throw down to second, runs into center, and McNeil will hustle to it. That ball was low and away, which made things tough for Catron, and the ball tailed on him as he threw to second. It's a stolen base for Garcia, here with nobody out. It was a pretty short lead at first, but he got a good jump. And Catron was unable to throw him out. 2 balls and a strike, nobody out. And Raley misses outside. He just doesn't really look comfortable out there right now. Here dealing to Rebels hitters in the second inning. There's Hino Yosha on deck, the second baseman hitting after Lonis. (3-1). Up the middle, a base hit into center. McNeil hustles to it, has it, and the stop sign is on. The ball goes into the infield, and it is runners on the corners with nobody out. So runners on first and third with nobody out. The Bennett school down 2 runs early, but this looks dangerous for the Rebels hitters. Hino Yosha at the plate, batting against Max Rayleigh. 2 hits on the game for Bennett already. First pitch, sky high. If it stays in play, it could be a big out. Hart chases, but it falls out of play for strike number 1. They were willing that ball to cycle back into the field of play, but it escaped, and it's new life for the Bennett Rebels second baseman. Max Rayleigh coming set, runners on the corners. Lonis breaks for second. That ball's in the dirt. They throw down to second. The tag is not in time. A lower throw might have had Tavin Lonis down at second base, but instead it's the second stolen base of the inning for Bennett, and runners on second and third with nobody out. 1-1 is the count. The Kingsmen going to keep the infield back here with the tying run at second base. 1-1. And it's hit in the air out to center. McNeil coming in on it, as is Catani. McNeil makes the play, and there is no runner tagging, but voices ringing loudly from the dugout as McNeil underhand tossed it to Logan Daniel rather than flipping that into the infield as quickly as possible. The Kingsmen get a big out without a run coming in, but danger is still paramount with runners on second and third and 1 out. The next batter is Jack Eli. Out of the windup, the first pitch. Low and away, 1-0. 2 hits, 2 walks against Rayleigh so far, but the Rebels have not had anything to show for the production. Out of the windup, the pitch. Swing and a miss. It's under Catron, but it doesn't get enough from home plate for Garcia to be tempted to sprint home. Swing and a miss, gets a strike on the board. And it is 1-1.
I didn't notice this one.
Rayleigh steps off. One ball and 1 strike. The pitch from Max is down the heart of the plate, taken by Eli, and he's behind 1-2. Runners on second and third for the Bennett school, down 2-0 here at home against the Kingsmen. And a big 1-2 pitch here coming from Max Rayleigh. Tanner Klentz on deck. 2-0 strike pitch. Does not get it on the outside corner, and it is 2-2. Really good pitch location there from Rayleigh on a spot that has been there a couple times already in this ball game. 2-2 is the count. Eli back in. They throw to second. They threw it into center field. Rayleigh threw it into center field and a run scores. They had the runner at second, Lonis. Rayleigh pump faked and then missed the shortstop, and a run scores as a result on the error by the pitcher. Two-strike pitch, hit foul. 2-1 is the score now. Bennett gifted a run, and frustration from the Kingsman coaching staff. They've loved that pick over to second over the course of this season. We've seen how effective it is, but it needs to be executed properly, especially with a runner on third. As the mistake cost the Kingsmen a run, we'll see how this at-bat concludes. Eli has the count 2-2 against the Kingsman starting pitcher. Rayleigh fires home and misses outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. An important 3-2 with the runner on second. Curveball did not, yes, he did get it on the outside corner. Delayed call from our home plate umpire, but it counts the same for Kingsman pitching. First strikeout of the game for Rayleigh, and there are 2 outs here in the inning. So Tanner Quentz, the next hitter, runner on second, 2 outs, first pitch. Fastball just missed the knees, 1-0. One ball, no strikes, 2 outs, a 1-run lead for the Kingsmen. Tying run on second base, big lead over there at second. And they break for third. Pitch is low, and Rayleigh sees the runner head to third. Catron does not throw down to that third base bag. So Lonis is 90 feet away from the tie and run here with a couple of stolen bases after he had the single to center field. The pitch. Low again. 3 balls and no strikes. 2 outs. If Quentz finds a way on, Jay Herrera will come up as the bottom of the Bennett school order. 3-0. There's a line drive foul to make it 3-1. The Kingsmen will bring up 3, 4, and 5 in inning number 3. Bernie, Hart, and Bose due up for the Kingsmen. The meat of the order coming up as the defense tries to preserve the lead in a 1-run game. 3 balls and a strike after the foul ball. Rayleigh fires home. A line drive to right center field. Long run for Wynant, chasing after it, and makes the running catch in right field to end the inning. 1 run scores for Bennett on the error, but the Kingsmen preserve the lead. 1-run game here in Houston when we come back in the 3rd inning on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Third inning here in Houston. Christian Bernie leads things off. Bustamante is up for his 3rd inning of work and sees a ground ball poke third base side. The shortstop makes a nice play but then can't handle it. Infield hit for Bernie as the Kingsmen find their leadoff man on for the 2nd inning in 3. Christian Bernie has his 2nd hit of the game. That ball hit a little bit harder than his last one. And he finds a way on here with nobody out.
I'm good.
I'm not giving you a hit. I'm giving you a 1-6.
First pitch to Montgomery Hart is low and in. 1-0 is the count to Gummy. 2-1 is the score. The Kingsmen with no bullpen action yet. There is some bullpen action down the first base line as the Bennett school readies their next arm. Bustamante came into this inning having thrown 50 pitches. And there's a line drive into the gap in left center field. That one will head to the wall. Bernie around second, heading for third. Hart cruises into third base. And Bernie getting the win will score as the ball's dropped by the shortstop. Montgomery Hart has his second hit, and he has his first RBI, an RBI double that scores Bernie to make it 3-1. How about the offensive production against Bustamante from the Kingsman hitters?
I know, it just rolls. I think it rolls more than one turn.
So Gummy's in scoring position. Ashton Bowes is the next hitter for the Kingsmen. A 3-1 lead. The top of the order has been lethal for the black and gold today. First pitch, a slide step, and a swinging strike on the slider. 0-1 to Ashton Bowes. See how much of a leash Bustamante here has in the third. Just 10 pitches in the second after a 40-pitch first inning. And Bowes, another big cut at that breaking ball. 2 strikes to the hitter. Harris Clark is on deck.
I think he'd be a much better batsman.
And then it would be Brody Winan. Bowes walked to bring in a run in the first inning. 2-strike pitch. Bowes up the middle, into center. Ashton Bowes singles as Hart swings around third, and he scores. RBI single for Bubba, and it's 4-1.
Go ahead, it's your turn.
So a couple of hits in a row. That's 3 hits in a row for the Kingsmen to start this third inning. And Hart has scored to make it a 3-run game. Kingsman with the lead on the road here is Harris Clark as the offense tries to keep rolling. He squares, and he gets the bunt down first base side, bouncing on the line and bounces foul. 0-1 as Bowes will have to return to first. Kingsman got to be careful to get that bunt down. We saw a pop-up bunt during that DSC prospect series that ended up costing the Kingsmen a double play. And if Clark does square again here with the count 0-1, the Bennett school will be ready for it. He does square early. Bustamante loads up a pitch that is bunted beautifully down the first base line, tossed to first, and a sacrifice moves Clark, or rather moves Bowes to second.
Good work, Harris. Good work, Harris. What do you want?
Time called by the catcher. In a quick conference between Clents and Bustamante. 3-run lead for the Kingsmen here in Houston, Texas. First of 4 games that the Kingsmen will play against the Rebels of the Bennett School. 2 at the varsity level, 2 at the prospect level. Going to be some exciting stuff for Coach Hudak and company. This trip has been circled on the calendar for a while. And getting full use out of the ABA bye week. Here is Brody Winan with 1 away. Bustamante glances at second a couple times, throws home, and the ball is poked into shallow right field in foul territory. Chasing after it is a group of Bennett infielders and outfielders, but no one can make the catch. A foul ball to make it 0-1. The right fielder, first baseman, and second baseman all came crashing, but the ball landed about a foot from that fence down the line, out of the reach of everyone. So Wynant, Thomas, and Catron, the next couple at the plate for the Kingsmen here in the third. 2 runs in the inning. Bernie and Hart have both scored. Bose is on second after the foul ball. The pitch to Wynant. Curveball drops in there beautifully. The top of the zone, 0-2. I'm sure at the plate for Wynant, that one looked like it was sitting there for about an hour. He's behind 0-2 here with Eli Thomas at the plate next. That one runs inside. Wynant getting his knees out of the way, 1-2. Decent lead off a second by Bose. Yosha backs off, and there's a foul ball off the bat of Brody. It bounces back to the catcher.
You should have your dad see it one day, but
Still some bullpen action for the Bennett school. They have 2 relievers throwing for a short amount of time. Now the mound on the left side, from this perspective at least, is the only one currently being used. There's a right-hander warming up down the first base line. 2-strike pitch to Wynant. Inside, nearly hit him. Got away from the catcher, but not enough for Bose to head to third. It is 2-2. No bullpen action for the Kingsmen quite yet. Max Raley getting set to come out and pitch his third inning. Gave up a run in the last frame off of the error, a failed pickoff move. 2-strike pitch. Wynant sends it right back. Return to center into center field. Bose is getting the wave, and Wynant scores a run with his RBI single, bringing in Ashton Bose to make it 5-1. Offensive production is here and hopefully here to stay for the Kingsman varsity team here today. 5 runs in the first 2 1/3 innings against Bennett School pitching. They'll be thrilled with it. Eli Thomas, the next to hit. And Thomas takes one at the bottom of the zone, 0-1. Thomas hit a ball hard his first time up to the plate, a hard fly out to center field that ended the top of the first. One of the harder hit balls the Kingsmen have had today. Just did not have enough juice to get it up and over Luke Beck in center field. Brody Wynant is standing on first base, and the pitch, runner on the move, and a fly ball hit to the right side and out of play. Quickly, 2 strikes to Eli Thomas with Jack Catron on deck.
And then on the left side that same day, that's pretty rare nowadays.
Wynant, a good lead off at first. We'll see if he takes off again. Bustamante clearly thinking the same thing as he throws a quick pickoff move that direction. In the bottom of the third, we'll see Herrera, Frosch, and Powell. 10-1-2 due for the Rebels. Thomas takes the 2-strike fastball low and away. Max Raley in the second on the mound got 3 outs in a row after allowing the first 2 he saw to reach base. Wynant, big lead at first. He does not take off, and Thomas takes a curveball on the outside edge for a called strike 3, and there are 2 outs here in the third inning.
Come on, Jack.
That ball thrown to first, got away. Wynant nearly took off for second, but thought better of it. The hand up from Coach Nick Osborne at first base as well. There's a fly ball. Infield, first base side. It's the second baseman, Hino Yosha. And makes the catch to end the inning. The Kingsmen put 3 on the board, 5-1. They lead here in Houston. We'll be right back as Rayleigh takes the mound once more on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Back here in the bottom of the third, Max Rayleigh is on the mound for the Kingsmen. The Kingsmen putting up 3 runs in the top of the third. A little bit of a cushion here against the Bennett school, who have had some hits off of Rayleigh, but just 1 run to show for it through the first 2 innings. It's 1-1 now to the leadoff man in the third, Jay Herrera, at the bottom of the order for the Bennett school. Then it'll be Brent Frosch and Noah Powell. Outside again, 2 balls and 1 strike. Rayleigh through 2 innings, 37 pitches, 2 hits, 2 walks. And that ball low and in, 3 balls and 1 strike. Just 1 strikeout through the first 9 hitters of the order. Hitters count, and he walks the leadoff man for the 2nd inning in a row. All 3 innings Rayleigh has been on the mound. The first base runner of the inning has been a walk, but both the 2nd and the 3rd have now seen a leadoff free pass for the Rebels. Top of the order for Bennett, Brent Frosch, the designated hitter batting for Bustamante, is to the plate for the 2nd time. He poked a ground ball to Logan Daniel at short, his first time to the plate. First pitch from Rayleigh out of the stretch is a tapped fly ball foul. 0-1 against Rayleigh in the Kingsmen. The infield is Hart, Daniel, Thomas, and Clark. Catron behind the dish, catching Rayleigh. Clark holding on Herrera at first, and the infield set to try to roll a pair. 0-1, nobody out here in the home half of the third. Rayleigh uncorks one with the runner on the move, and it's poked into left field. Going back on it is Catani. He reaches up and makes the catch, and the runner retreats. Safe has been called, and now they'll get the out at second. Hart throws to second, and the out is made. Catani is appealing, saying that it was on the transfer, but the call was safe by the base umpire. It'll be a tough one to overturn, but Coach Joe Hudak is going to walk out and have a chat with the home plate umpire, perhaps asking him if he had an alternate view of it. The Kingsmen got it out regardless, but the only difference being the base runner on first, the speedy leadoff man for the Rebels, now on first instead of Jay Herrera. So as of now, and it appears to remain, it will be a fielder's choice. An interesting one. It was left field to third base to second base. And they throw went over Logan Daniel to Hart at third, and then he flipped it to Thomas at second. First pitch coming here to Noah Powell with one away. And a throw sails over the head, and Clark will chase as it rebounded off the fence. And Frosch gets 90 feet off of the error. Second error by Max Rayleigh on the mound today. Both have come on pickoff moves.
Sixth.
This game has not been short of unique plays in the first 3 innings of the game. A 7-5-4 fielder's choice. And that Christian Burney infield hit that saw it go off of his bat when the ball was thrown behind him. First pitch just outside to Noah Powell. The extra hitter in the Rebels' order was the first base runner of the game for Bennett. He walked, got to second on the Santos single, and then was the only runner not retired in the 6-4-3 double play that ended the first inning. 1-0. Rayleigh outside again. Catron to a lunge to keep that one in front of him. 2-0. Still no bullpen action for the Kingsmen, but it looks like that might change as Nick Osborne turns to his left and starts walking toward the bullpen. Rayleigh comes set, working out of the stretch with the runner on second base. 2-0, doesn't get it at the bottom of the zone. 3-0 here to the two-hole hitter. It's Powell, then Yandel Santos, as A.J. Griffith hustles down to the bullpen. Three balls and no strikes. Squaring to bunt is the hitter. He takes a strike at the top of the zone to make it 3-1.
Who did that? Ryan, why'd you do that? Rich, why'd you do that?
And 3-1, low and away. Second time Powell has walked aboard, second and first with one out.
I'm getting hit with water pellets. Can you get hit with this too? I got hit with more water pellets.
Coach Preston Hudak is walking a couple steps to the mound, but it's not for a mound visit. He simply tosses a baseball to the on-deck hitter for Bennett. And that's Luke Beck, the 2026 center fielder. Second and first, one out, a 5-1 game. Bennett looking for an answer after the Kingsmen had 3 in the top half of this inning. Rayleigh's first pitch. Slider low and in, 1-0, and here comes Coach Joe Hudak. Time called. We'll step aside here on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Be back after the mound visit. Hudak and Rayleigh to chat here in the third. Bottom of the third, and as you may have noticed, a new pitcher on the mound for the Kingsmen. Max Rayleigh's day is done. 2 1/3, but a walk, a couple of walks, and a fielder's choice here in the inning have knocked Max Rayleigh out of the game. A.J. Griffith, the new pitcher for the Kingsmen. A 1-0 count to Yandel Santos. First pitch, a breaking ball, top of the zone, 1-1.
Come AJ!
One ball and one strike. And there's a high fly ball, foul, third base side, excuse me. Hooked well away from Catani, but good bat on the ball from Yandel Santos, who had a single to center his first time up, batting in the first inning. He's up here in the third with the Bennett school having runners on second and first. Down 4 runs to the Kingsmen. Griffith trying to pitch the black and gold out of a jam. 1-2 pitch. Curveball, third base side, fielded by Hart. He goes to second for 1. Thomas had a hesitation, and that's going to cost him the double play. He lost it in the glove for just a moment, but they get the fielder's choice for out number 2, and it's runners on the corners. Second fielder's choice of the inning.
How about AJ? Go AJ.
That one's in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. 2 outs for Luke Beck. Committed to Hill College, JUCO. The only commit, at least as far as I can tell, in this specific starting 9 for the Bennett Rebels. 2026 grad playing center today. Takes a swing and a ground ball to the shortstop. Daniel flips to Thomas. 3 fielders' choices. How about that? The Kingsmen get out of the inning without a run. We head to the 4th here on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Into the fourth we go. Logan Daniel leads things off, and that one is high. For ball number 1, he's at the bottom of the order, hitting for the Kingsmen in the 10 hole. And it'll be the top of the order for McNeil and Catani. 1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes now. It appears to be a new pitcher on the mound for the Bennett Rebels. And that 2-0 on the outside corner. From reading the number right, it appears to be Cody Haley wearing the number 28. And he is in for Bustamante. 2-1. That's hit in the air to deep center field, but playable for Luke Beck, and he has the first out of the inning. So 1 out quickly here in the 4th. Top of the order for the Kingsmen. Caden McNeil got some eyebrows raised in his last appearance to the plate. Hit that triple over the center fielder's head. And he's up now with 1 out. He squares and pulls back, ball 1, trying to drag himself aboard. Tested the third baseman to begin this game. The third baseman, Lonis, ended up making that error, allowing the Kingsmen their first base runner of the game. McNeil came in to score that time around the bases. 1-0. And he takes high for ball 2. It's McNeil, then Catani, and then Christian Burney if the Kingsmen can avoid bringing just the minimum to the plate. It's more bullpen action for the Kingsmen down the left field line. Brody Wynant getting some tosses in. McNeil chops one foul. 2 balls and a strike here. Both bullpens are active. A.J. Griffith for the Kingsmen just came into the game. Faced 2 batters, got them both out on fielder's choice ground balls. Of course, you'd expect him to pitch a little bit more either today or tomorrow. 2-1. McNeil squared again, but pulled back. 3 balls and a strike.
Setting 88 And I pitched against P27. I went 1.1 innings, 4 innings.
3-1 pitch to Caden. High and a walk. For the 3rd time around, the order starts with a base runner. McNeil has found his way aboard all 3 times he has been up to the plate. Another McNeil family is in town from the Greensboro area of North Carolina. They'll undoubtedly be happy with what they've seen from Caden so far in the ball game. Catani is up next with 1 away. That's in there for a called strike. Catani, a walk. He came around to score on the Bose walk, and then he flew out to center in his only at-bat of the game. That ended the 2nd inning. He's up again here in the 4th. 0-1, McNeil, a good lead at first, held on by Garcia. Haley throws home and misses high, the count at 1-1. Thanks for joining us today on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Whether you're KBA family or you're tuning in from the Bennett School, thanks for joining us. We'll have coverage of all 4 games, the 2 Prospect versus Premier games and the 2 Varsity versus Prospect games, game 1 of which that we're watching right now over the next couple of days here in the Lone Star State. McNeil takes off. 1-1 is high. Throw down on 1 hop to second is not in time, and Caden McNeil has himself a stolen base. The ball snuck into center, but Caden stays tall on that second base bag. He's in scoring position with 1 out. Two balls and 1 strike. Catani hitting with the designated hitter Burney on deck. Big lead at second for Caden McNeil. He takes a shuffle back, and now Catani pops one up. Foul first base side of the infield. In play and making the catch is Garcia. Isa Garcia makes the catch for out number 2. And Bernie will have to be up to try to bring in Caden McNeil. A couple of big outs for Cody Haley on the mound. Then a couple of balls in the air besides the McNeil walk to get 2 Kingsman hitters. Bernie with the man on second up with 2 away. Checking on McNeil without a throw. In the bottom of the 4th, it'll be Isa Garcia, Tavin Lonis, and Jacob Hinoyosha. There's a quick throw to second, trying to get McNeil off the base. He's back safely. And that's how quick he is. He took a shuffle off of second when that move started, and despite that, was still able to dive back in ahead of the throw. Barney takes a rip at the first pitch and sends it into center, but playable for Luke Beck, who makes the catch to end the inning. Good battle on ball, but it does not result in a run. McNeil stranded in scoring position for the second time in a row. Kingsman blanked here in the 4th inning. We head to the bottom half. 5-1 it remains here on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Here in the bottom of the 4th, A.J. Griffith is indeed still on the mound to face Garcia, Lonis, and Hinoyosha. First pitch out of the windup for A.J. Fastball swung on and missed by the 2027 first baseman for the Rebels. Griffith didn't get the luxury of pitching out of the windup in the last inning when he came in for Rayleigh. Got 2 fielders' choices to get them out of that frame without conceding. Now he's ahead 0-2. A couple of good fastballs to start off Isa Garcia, who walked and scored Bennett's lone run, scoring on that error by Rayleigh. That ball thrown into center field with the runner on third. 0-2. Curveball outside corner. A 3-pitch strikeout to start the bottom of the 4th. Griffith has his first K of the afternoon.
What is Millside College?
So 1 out. Tavin Lonis had a single, stole a couple of bases his first time up, but was unable to wrap around to home plate. In fact, he is the last Bennett hitter to have a base hit in this one. Just 2 hits for the Rebels thus far against the Kingsman pitchers. And he watches the breaking ball sink in there as Griffith once again gets himself ahead. Oh, 1, Griffith back to the outside pitch, and it's 1-1. First ball thrown in the inning by A.J. Griffith after the 3-pitch strikeout. Faced the first baseman to start the inning, now up against the Bennett third baseman. And has a ground ball chopped second base side. Eli Thomas with an excellent snag, but no play as an infield hit gives Lonis his second hit of the game. And Bennett have a man on here with 1 out. He sat on that pitch, hit it off the end of the bat, past the glove of Griffith. And while it wasn't hit super hard, it was hit in the perfect spot. Eli Thomas to full extension to keep it in the infield, but nothing he could do to throw out the Bennett third baseman, who has himself his second hit of the ball game. And here is Jacob Hinayosha. Foul tip into the glove of Catron for strike 1. We'll be back on the air tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning local time. That's Central Time here in Houston. 10:30 for our Eastern Coast audience. That one just misses the zone. It's 1-1 on the fastball. Varsity start time, 9:30 Houston time. And then the Prospect will have their first game of 2. They'll play that one half an hour after the conclusion of the varsity contest. That's tipped into the glove of Catron. 2 strikes. Runner on first, and 1 out. In the dirt, blocked by Jack Catron. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Quick throw from Griffith to first. Clark applies the tag, but not in time to get Lonis. After the Bennett second baseman, it will be Jack Eli, the shortstop. As the Kingsmen are treated to the middle of the order, in the infield for Bennett Academy. There's another throw to first, much closer that time, but back safely goes Lonis. The Bennett School is a first-year academy just like the Kingsmen, operating here out of Houston, Texas. That one just misses the zone. They try to back pick down to first. Lonis back safely. In addition to the 2 teams the Kingsmen are playing, the Bennett Rebels have a middle school team of which it looks like a few of the players have come first base side of the stands to support the older group.
I've been watching Spider-Man.
3-2 pitch. Griffith left the curveball high, and it's a walk. 2 runners on for Bennett here in the 4th inning. The Bennett Rebels have had 2 runners on base in every inning of this ball game so far. They have only managed the 1 run across to this point, but Jack Eli up in a big spot to try to change that. The 8-hitter, the shortstop, battling against Griffith with 1 away. That ball over the head of Catron. Runners on the move, and Catron didn't come up throwing. The runners take second and third. That ball was high, but it didn't exactly look uncatchable. But Catron didn't appear to have gotten the glove on it. So a wild pitch puts runners on second and third here with 1 away. Infield going to stay back, at least for now, given the lead. Wondering if Catron may have gotten crossed up, which is a potential reason for the glove being a couple inches lower than the baseball flew in. Runners on second and third, 1 away. 5-1 is the score. Bennett scored in the 2nd inning. Looking for some response against the Kingsmen here, and time was called just as Griffith started his motion.
I went on July 4th. It was the most American July 4th possible.
1-0. high for ball 2. Bennett School, part of the NAA, the Academy League that a lot of the ABA conference teams that the Kingsmen are used to playing came from, including TNXL, P27, Georgia Premier. The academy landscape of high school baseball rapidly changing here in the southern part of the United States. That one in there to make it 1-2, or 2 balls and 1 strike rather.
Yeah, no, I dropped my AirPod case over there.
First 2 pitches were high, then that curveball dropped in. Griffith battling against Eli with first base unoccupied. 2-1 pitch. And Eli takes a strike on the outside corner. A good fastball from AJ. Tanner Klentz is on deck. The catcher in the 9-hole flew out to end the 2nd inning. He'll bat after Eli, trying to make up for the strikeout that he had with the runner on third the first time he was up at the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Griffith pitches home. The ball, a cue shot, first base side, just foul. Would have brought in a run if the ball was maybe 3 inches further to the left. Harris Clark fielded it, but it was called foul by the home plate umpire. Playing 7 innings today in sunny Houston. Just as we are here in the booth, the spectators happy for the shade that this ballpark provides, an overhang over the bleachers here at Mendel Field, home of Houston Christian High School and home of the Bennett School. Long time looking in for the Newton native. Griffith fires home. Curveball, got him, outside corner. Eli down looking for the 2nd time in a row, and there are 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. It's a big 2-strike pitch from A.J. Griffith. He has his 2nd strikeout of the game. This one coming after back-to-back base runners had found their way aboard for Bennett. Tanner Klentz has a couple in scoring position, looking to do a big job for the Rebels. First pitch. Curveball, same spot, 0-1. In the top of the 5th, the Kingsmen will bring up Hart, Bowes, and Clark, 4, 5, 6 for the KBA's varsity team. 0-1. Foul tip into the glove of Catron, 0-2. The Kingsman varsity team came into last Friday's game with a 4-game winning streak, but suffered that loss to P27 last Friday at Gardner-Webb University. Looking to get back in the win column here against the Bennett School. 0-2 pitch from A.J. Griffith. Ground ball, second base side. Routine for Eli Thomas, who fires to first and has him to end the inning and strand a couple. 5-1 as we go to the 5th. The Kingsmen trying to fight off the Bennett Rebels here in the first game of 4 this week in Houston. We'll be right back on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Top of the fifth here, 5-1. The Kingsmen back to the offensive bats. Gummy Hart leads things off. He's had a big day at the plate. First pitch just missed the inside corner for Cody Haley, the right-hander, pitching his second inning in relief of Cade Bustamante. Montgomery Hart a single and a double so far. 1-0. Hart takes it low, 2 balls and no strikes. One of the floaters between the Kingsman varsity and prospect teams. You'll likely see him in the middle infield for the prospect battles when they take on the Bennett Premier team tomorrow and Wednesday. 3 balls and no strikes. After Hart, it'll be Ashton Bowes and Harris Clark. 4, 5, 6 due up here in the fifth for the Kingsmen, up 4 runs as we stand against the Rebels. 3-0. Hart taking, and he has a 4-pitch walk to start the inning. A couple of borderline pitches in that plate appearance that did not get the call in the inside corner for Cody Haley. He concedes the leadoff walk, and Ashton Bowes, who singled his last time, will come up to the plate here with nobody out.
Interesting. So what pass do you get drafted this year?
Decent lead off at first for Hart. Held on by Garcia. First pitch, a fastball hit high in the air to right, but playable for Jay Herrera. Herrera ranging to his left and makes the catch for out number 1. One thing to be excited about, even with that flyout, Ashton Bowes seeing the ball very well right now. He's hit a couple of balls really hard today. Just under that one, the flyout to right gives Bennett its first outfield, or its first out of the inning, coming on the flyout. Here's Harris Clark, who had a sacrifice bunt the last time he was in the right-hand side batter's box. First pitch, outside for ball number 1. Cody Haley has worked pretty efficiently in his inning and a third of work. He's retired 4 of the 6 hitters he's seen so far. The only 2 reaching have been with the free pass, but Clark trying to change that. He hit it right at the left fielder Santos, who makes a nice play for out number 2. That may have been one of the harder hit balls we've seen from Harris Clark this season, but he is not rewarded for it as he lines out for out number 2. Brody Winan will hit next. What a scorcher. This will be the 20th pitch for Cody Haley since coming in out of the bullpen. But he steps off and recomposes himself before throwing it. We'll see if A.J. Griffith comes out in the bottom of inning number 5, with the Bennett Rebels set to bring up 10-1 and 2. They throw over to first to check on Montgomery Hart. Bennett set to complete its second time through the order. The Kingsmen have just passed the halfway point of their third time through their starting 10. Hart has stayed put on first since the leadoff walk. It's in the dirt. Hart stays put, 1-0. Pretty good crowd on hand for both the Bennett School and the Kingsman Baseball Academy. Of course, a longer trip like that, as parents, you can call that vacation. Take a couple of days off work. A little easier to make the trip. And then for some of the conference road trips, as that ball skied to center, playing it is Luke Beck, and he makes the catch in center to end the inning. Good work by Cody Haley. We head to the bottom of the 5th. The Kingsmen still up 4, with Bennett coming back around to hit when we return Varsity Baseball on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Bottom of the 5th, A.J. Griffith still on the mound for the Kingsmen, pitching against 10-1-2. His first pitch of the 5th is a fastball that bounced in the dirt, scooped backhand side by Catron to Jay Herrera. He walked, was out on a fielder's choice in the 3rd inning. Same inning that Griffith came into this ballgame. That one ran upstairs and inside on the hitter. Herrera ducked out of the way. 2 balls and no strikes. After Jay Herrera, it'll be the top of the order for Frosch, Powell, and Santos. These 3 hitters due up in the inning, the last 3 that have not seen A.J. Griffith. That ball hit in the air. 2-0 swinging was Herrera, but it's playable for Caden McNeil. He makes the can of corn catch in center for out number 1. Brent Frosch will hit next. The designated hitter is 0 for 2 today. Reached on a fielder's choice, but did not score in inning number 3. Frosch and Powell have not seen Griffith, but once we get to Yandel Santos, that will change. He came in for Max Rayleigh to face the 3-hole and has seen the rest of the order since then. We turn to the top for the 3rd time for the Bennett School. First pitch. Frosch hits a high fly ball to center. McNeil's got a little farther to go here, but he looks to have settled and makes the catch. Couple of flyouts. Caden McNeil getting his steps in center here in the 5th. And there are 2 outs as Noah Powell will come up to the plate next. I say this, but it looks like a pinch hitter for the Bennett School. Payson 4 is going to hit. Pinch hitter for the Bennett School.
I think I'm paid to just save on
So 4 takes another ball. 2 balls and no strikes. First at bat of the game for Kaysen. And then it would be Santos if the Bennett School can get a base runner on. I mentioned it last inning. They've had 2 base runners in every inning of this ball game. But A.J. Griffith has gotten the first 2 here in the 4th, or rather in the 5th. Bottom 5 here in Houston. Once again behind 2-0. He's got to be careful. In the 6th, we'll see the bottom 3 for the Kingsmen, Thomas, Catron, and Daniel. Griffith floats in the 2-0. 2 balls and a strike, so that one finds the zone. 3 balls and 1 strike, according to our home plate umpire. And that one got the inside corner. A gracious call from the home plate umpire brings the count to full. Griffith has retired 4 in a row, 3 balls and 2 strikes, and that one well off the plate outside. Catron has to chase as 4 heads down after seeing ball 4. Here comes Coach Joe Hudak. A.J. Griffith missed badly on that last pitch and was in a crouch behind home plate. Talking with Coach Hudak. And Brody Winan running in from the outfield. It looks like he's going to come in to pitch next, and Matthew De La Cruz is going to head out for a defensive change. AJ is done, but what an effort on the mound. Winan will pitch when we return on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Bottom of the fifth, back here on the Kingsman Baseball Network. I'm Griffin Leonard here with you for the Bennett School and the Kingsmen varsity matchup for the KBA to start the week. And they have the lead on the scoreboard, 5-1 bottom five. Pitching change sees Brody Winan enter the game to face Yandel Santos. First pitch low and away to the left fielder, who has reached both times. First on a single, next on a fielder's choice. So he's 1 for 2. But the left fielder trying to get Bennett back in this ball game. A couple of innings still to get the offense rolling. The ball, no strikes, and the pitch from Winan is just low. 2 balls and no strikes now, a hitter's count for Santos. Winan comes in for A.J. Griffith, who heads to the bench. Winan was in right field, so a defensive change needed to be made, and as we've seen a couple times before, Dino Catani moves from left to right in his place. Foul ball to make it 2-1. The defensive switch being there with Matthew De La Cruz heading from the bench out to the outfield. He's in left, so it's De La Cruz, McNeil, and Catani left to right now in the outfield. The infield is unchanged. Hart, Daniel, Thomas, and Clark with Patron, the human backstop. 2 balls and 1 strike, 2 away here in the bottom of the fifth. Clark holding on the base runner in power. And that ball hit shortstop side, but away from Daniel and up the middle. Second single of the game for Yandel Santos. He has himself a base knock. And once again, the Rebels have 2 runners on base. Took them 2 outs to get their first, but a walk and now a single off of Winan gives the Rebels some life. Here's Luke Beck. First pitch, low for a ball. Kingsman out hitting the Bennett School 7-4 so far in this contest. 2 of those 4 hits credited to Yandel Santos, who is on first, the trailing runner behind Noah Powell. That one low for ball number 2. Noah Powell is on second. He has walked all 3 times that he's been to the plate. Yet to register an at-bat, but has been productive for the Bennett School. 2 balls and no strikes. Winan fires home. He hits the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike. Got it on the low and outside corner. Bennett has not scored since the second. Their only run coming on that error from Max Raley with runners on second and third. An errant throw into center allowed that runner from third to score. There's a chop ground ball, third base side. High hop for Daniel. Tough play, and he has no throw. Luke Beck hit the ball straight down off of home plate, and that ball bounced up in the air, made things very difficult for Logan Daniel, who did not catch that ball by the time it was able to fall. He had to play the next hop, and by then there was no play at all. So bases are loaded for the Bennett School, and the tying run is up at the plate for Isa Garcia. First pitch, fastball, cranked first base side, chasing and running out of room is Harris Clark. It's 0-1. Isa Garcia, a junior, as his father is the head coach of this Bennett Rebels prospect team. There's a ground ball off the glove of Winan. He's off the mound to retrieve it and flips underhand to end the inning. The Kingsmen escape the bases loaded jam here in the fifth, and they continue to allow base runners but not allow runs. They're bending but not breaking through 5. We head to the 6th, 5-1 here on the Kingsman Baseball Network. of the sixth here in Houston, Texas. Eli Thomas takes a strike to start the inning. A couple of changes that we're trying to figure out on the spot here in the booth. A new man on the mound for Bennett, Isa Garcia, who started the game at first. He finds his way onto the hill. Fires an 0-1 fastball just outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Eli Thomas. The third baseman, Tavin Lonis, moved over to first, and we're trying to figure out who it is at the hot corner right now for the Rebels. 1-1 pitch, and Thomas swings through the fastball. 1-2. Two strikes, the pitch. Thomas hits a third base side, knocked down by the shortstop. He throws on one hop, but not in time to get Eli Thomas. And the class of 2030 infielder has a hit off of Isa Garcia to start the inning. First hit of the game for Eli. First pitch here coming for Jack Catron. Runner on first in Eli Thomas. First pitch from Garcia is outside corner, called a strike, 0-1. The strike called, 2 strikes on the hitter Catron. The third baseman is Cody Haley, who is just on the mound for the Rebels. So they do a little switch amongst the corner infielders and the pitcher. Everybody takes one step to their right, or I guess one step to their left, as the throw goes over to Eli Thomas.
I'm sorry. 26.
0-2 with the runner on first. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Or is it 25? I'm sorry, it's 25. My old Did you say 1 ball, 2 strikes?
1 ball, 2 strikes here to the hitter Catron. And it is, on second thought, Owen Lee, wearing the number 25, who is at the hot corner for the Rebels. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Catron swings through the fastball, couldn't catch up on the outside corner, and 1 is away in the 6th.
Sorry. They're kind of all the same.
That one in there for a strike. Logan Daniel in the 10 spot, 0 for 2. Thomas taking a couple steps off of first, being held on by Lonis in the pitch. High, and now they throw down catcher to first, but back safely goes Eli Thomas. Thomas got the Kingsmen started here in the 6th with that ground ball into the hole, the third base side of the infield. An infield hit for Thomas, the Kingsmen's 8th hit of the game. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 away here in the 6th. 2 innings to go here for the Kingsmen, trying to win on the road. There's a fly ball, foul off the bat of Daniel, first base side. One ball and 2 strikes. Top of the order awaiting us after Daniel, with Katie McNeil set to hit for the 4th time. Quick throw over to first. Back safely goes Thomas, the second baseman. No runs in this ball game since the 3rd. The Kingsmen started things with 2 runs in the 1st. Bennett poked back with 1 in the 2nd, and then the Kingsmen had 3 They had 3 hits to start the third, with Bernie, Hart, and Bose all getting base knocks. That one high for ball 2. All 3 of them came in to score. The run coming in on the Gummy Hart RBI double. Hart then scored on Bose's single, and Winant singled in Ashton Bose. Productive third inning with 4 hits to show for it. 3 runs the result. 2-2. Outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes as the count runs full to third. Daniel, the shortstop, has made a couple of nice plays in the field today. Does not have anything except for a couple of flyouts in this ball game. He swings through that one, throw down to second's a good one, and the catcher Tanner Klentz was walking to the dugout before that ball even got to second. Excellent throw to get Eli Thomas. A strike him out, throw him out double play sends us to the bottom of the 6th, 5-1 here, Varsity Baseball on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Bottom of the 6th here in Houston, Texas. First game of 4 for the KBA this week in the Lone Star State, and trying to get a week opening win. The Varsity Kingsmen battling the Bennett Rebels. 5-1, bottom 6. Brody Winant, who came in for A.J. Griffith last inning, starting off the 6th. He was ahead 0-1, but now the count is even. After that one found the dirt. It's Lonis, Yosha, and Eli.
I wouldn't think he chose
6, 7, and 8 due up here for the home side in the 6th inning. Quick conference between Catron and Winant. Tate Johnston has been throwing a little bit in the Kingsman bullpen. We'll see if Tate comes in before this ball game is over. 6 more outs. The Kingsmen looking to wrap up this series opener. They'll play again against Bennett's prospect team tomorrow morning, 9:30 local, 10:30 Charlotte here in Texas. Now 2-1. It'll be a doubleheader. Both teams will be playing tomorrow. The varsity team, the first game, and then the prospect playing against the Bennett School's premier squad. That game will start 30 minutes after the conclusion of the first game of the morning. 2-1 pitch with nobody out. High and laid off by Lonis. Tavin Lonis thought about chasing that one high of the letters, but he held it off, and it is 3-1. Wynant, since coming into the game, gave up 2 base hits, but then got a ground ball out. And there's base hit number 3. Ripped up the middle by Lonis, who's got his 3rd hit of the game. He's 3 for 3 with 3 singles. That's the leadoff production you're looking for if you're the Bennett School trying to solve this Kingsman defense. They've been so close in the last couple of innings. It's honestly similar to what we saw from the Kingsmen's varsity team on Friday when they lost 9-0 against P27, but had runners in scoring position in 5 of the 7 innings of that ball game. Just were unable to cash in the runs that they had set up on a tee. Wynant delivers a first pitch fastball that is popped foul, and the outfielder turned pitcher chasing after it for a moment, but gives up chase as it falls out of play, 0-1. So this is Jacob Hinayosha, who walked his last time after he flied out to center. 0 for 1 for the second baseman. Oh, and 1 count with nobody out. Fastball hit high in the air to center. McNeil backpedaling and now turns to face the ball and makes the catch. The way he played it, it looked like it was right at him, and I think he realized he needed to rechart his course. McNeil makes the catch for out number 1, and here's Jack Eli. At least it was supposed to be Jack Eli. It looks like Matt Tucker is batting in that 8 spot. So runner on first and 1 away after the flyout. 8 hole up and a pinch hitter for the Bennett School. First pitch. Fastball hit high in the air to left field, out of the reach of De La Cruz, and it's off the wall. De La Cruz fields and whips it into the infield. It is a 1-out double off the bench. Matt Tucker gives the Rebels some life here in the 6th inning. 2 runners on again. Now the question they'll be asking is, how do we get him in? 5-1 is the score, 1 out. Tanner Klintz, the hitter. He flew out to end the 2nd and grounded out to end the 4th. Wynant out of the windup. Ran 1 inside, but it's out of the way of the hitter, 1-0. A 4-run cushion for the Kingsmen. But once again, the Rebels threatening to carve into that deficit here in inning number 6. 1-0 pitch. And it's away from Catron. Runner stumbled and will retreat. Lonis took a step toward home, but his foot slipped from under him, and he had to head back to third. 2-0 as the Kingsmen catch a break. Two balls and no strikes. 1 away here in the 6th. Brody Wynant in his 2nd inning since coming out of the pen. He's gotten 2 outs so far. And he gets a swing and a miss looking for his 3rd out. Only 1 out here, though, in the frame. Infield going to stay back for the Kingsmen with the lead. Sacrifice an out, or rather sacrifice a run in order to get an out. Here with one more inning to go after this. After the swing and a miss, it's a pop-up, first base side, but it evades Harris Clark, 2-2. After Clentz, it'll be the 10 spot. And it's Jay Herrera swinging in that 10 spot in the on-deck circle.
It's not cold.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Wynant out of the windup, looking for a big out. Brings the leg up and forward. And he spiked that pitch. It was blocked by Catron, 3-2. Count is full. Herrera will come up next as Catron had a piece of equipment come unlodged, and he just tosses it back to the dugout.
I'm ready. Way to work, Jack.
3 balls and 2 strikes, 1 away. Important payoff pitch coming for the Kingsmen. Wynant delivers and strikes out. Tanner Clentz for a huge second out here in the 6th. First strikeout of the game for Brody, and it's the first strikeout in 10 hitters for Kingsman pitching. And it's a huge out to keep the runners at second and third. Now Jay Herrera up with 2 down. First pitch. Inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Second time this inning, the coaching staff from the Kingsman dugout are directing Dino Catani in at right field. It makes sense, opposite field side against the bottom of the order. The only problem is the last time they did that, on the very next pitch, Matt Tucker hit one off the left field wall. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 away. And Herrera takes on the outer half of the strike zone, 1 ball and 1 strike. In the bottom of, or rather in the top of the 7th, it'll be the top of the order for the Kingsmen. It'll be McNeil, Catani, and Bernie. 1-1. Outside corner to make it 1-2. A couple of good fastballs from Wynant located on the outer half against Herrera. See what the 10 hitter is made of. He's walked and he's flown out to center. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wynant strikes him out. Back-to-back Ks for Brody Wynant. And we head to the 7th. Once again, the Kingsmen strand a couple in scoring position. 1 more inning to go, and a fun finish awaits us. Varsity Baseball wraps up after this on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Seventh inning here in Houston. Caden McNeil takes a strike, 0-1. Top of the order up for the KBA. It's McNeil, Catani, and Bernie. Trying to give the Kingsmen any more insurance before we head to the final half inning. 0-1. McNeil's reached all 3 times he's been to the plate, and he fouls off a fastball to make it 0-2. McNeil reached on an error to begin the ball game, and then he had that triple to center field and a walk his last time. He was 1 for 2 rather. Oh, and 2 is the count. Nobody out in the 7th. Ground ball, shortstop side, tough play coming in on it is Eli. He throws to first, stretching, and off the bag is the call. Lonis could not keep his foot on the first base bag, and McNeil reaches again.
That's not shortstop. Number 12, I think.
I got you. That was Tucker at shortstop who hit for Jack Eli in the last inning. So Tucker with the throw to first, and McNeil on at first base, being held on by Tavin Lonis. The Kingsman's number 11 comes up. Dino Catani hitting for the 4th time, looking for his first hit. Dino bunts one down the third base line, but it is foul. 0-1. After Dino, it'll be 2 guys who have a couple of hits in the ball game. Bernie and Hart both have produced a multi-hit game here in Houston. Play of the game might be that you can't even call it a swinging bunt for Christian Bernie when the ball hit his bat behind his head. But he found his way aboard. 0-1. McNeil's on the move. Inside, that ball went off the bat of Dino Catani. And McNeil is on second. I do wonder if the Bennett School coach will have a chat about that just to confirm that there was no interference, but it appears like everything's all good. Catani didn't move from the batter's box, and the bat was in a natural position, so no call to be made. McNeil steals second here with nobody out.
Why isn't it on the inside of the head?
That one's in there for a strike. There's a couple Canadians on this Kingsman team that are Blue Jays fans, such as myself, and I think all 4 of us will think back to 2015, the ALDS, and the ball thrown off of the bat of the Texas Rangers hit. It was a pretty similar play to that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Outside, and 2-2 is the count. I would presume that some of the Bennett School players, though most are from Houston, there may be 1 or 2 that have a less positive recollection of the end of that game than the Jays fans do here with the KBA. Two balls and 2 strikes to Dino Catani. Christian Bernie's on deck. Kingsmen have a man on second and nobody out.
Sophomore, I was 88, and then
that one off the plate. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Isaac Garcia trying to get the Bennett School out of this 7th. They'll need at least 4 to tie this game. Maybe more if the Kingsmen can add on 1 or 2 more. 3-2 is the count. Garcia comes set. McNeil a decent lead off of second base. The full count pitch is swung on and missed. Catani strikes out for the first time today. Garcia has himself a strikeout with 1 out. Christian Bernie, the right-hand hitter, has a couple of base hits today. He stands in with 1 out. Garcia delivers one on the outside corner. It looked like Burns thought about poking after it, but it's 0-1. He had the interesting play that we mentioned a few times that brought in a run, that infield single, and then he had a ripped line drive up the middle for his second hit. And now he's hunting his third as he chops one foul just past the bare hand of Preston Hudak down the third base coaching box. It's 0-2 with Montgomery Hart on deck. Tate Johnston's been warming up for a while down in the bullpen. We'll see if he comes out for the 7th or if it would be Brody Winant to try to finish off the ball game. 0-2. And Garcia throws as McNeil takes off for third. That ball's poked in the second base side of the infield, and it's into shallow right. McNeil comes in to score, and Bernie is on. We'll see how that one's officially scored, but chances are that's going to be Christian Bernie's third hit of the game. McNeil had a head start moving from second to third, and then came in to score as soon as that ball got by the second base glove of Jacob Hinoyosha. Runner on first and one out. First pitch to Montgomery Hart is a foul ball lifted to the left side.
Of course, not put it in the wrong. We're on the top of the 7th.
First run of the ball game since the top of the third. Bernie a short lead off of first. The pitch from Garcia hits the top of the zone for strike number 2. Hard at the plate now, then Ashton Bowes in the 5 slot. He stands on deck. Hart a single and a double, and then walked his last time. He is yet to be retired. The 2-strike pitch is down low of the knees. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Outside corner, Hart goes down looking for out number 2. Good pitch location from Isa Garcia. 1 more out for the Bennett school to grab here in the 7th before they'll head back to the plate to hit. Ashton Bowes, the extra hitter. He singled and flew out in addition to a walk. His single brought in a run, part of that productive 3rd inning. Bernie's on the move. High pitch, throw down to second with the dive, and the call is safe. Christian Bernie showing off the wheels. Not too often you're going to see the Kingsman designated hitter get on the move, but I don't believe it's his first stolen base of the season either. Have to fact check that. 2 balls and no strikes. Bowes has himself a hitter's count. And he takes a big cut at a fastball high up of the zone, 2-1. Top of the order awaits us in the bottom of the 7th for Bennett. And the Rebels looking for a comeback. As of now, they trail by 5. It'll be Frosch, Powell, and Santos. That's in there for strike 2 and 2. I do believe it would actually be Frosch and then 4 before Santos. Case in 4 hitting for Noah Powell the last time around the order. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ashton Bowes. As Isa Garcia tries to end the inning. Ripped ground ball, 1 hop to third. The throw across the diamond is in time to get Ashton Bowes. He hits another one hard, folks. But Bowes retired to end the inning. 1 more in the frame. 6-1 as we head to the bottom of the 7th here on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Bottom of the 7th here. Brody Wynant returns to the mound to try and finish off the Bennett Rebels here in the first game of 4 that the Kingsmen will play against the Bennett School over the next 3 days. 0-1 is the count with nobody out. In the dirt, 1 ball, 1 strike. Oh, 1, slider off the plate. I'd like to thank you for joining us today on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Once again, we'll be back tomorrow with 9:30 local, 10:30 Eastern baseball. Once again, a rematch between these two teams. And then we will have the Kingsman Prospect against the Bennett Premier team starting at noon local, 1 Eastern. Those games are set to be played on 2 different fields here at the complex at Baseball USA in Houston. So we'll see how things work with getting the second game of the day started. That one's in the dirt to make it 3-2. In the event that the 1 game runs long, well then I'll do my best to hustle on over here and get the broadcast for game number 2 started as soon as humanly possible. Full count pitch, Brody Wynant pitching to Brent Frosch. And a foul ball to the net keeps the at-bat going. Frosch 4 and then Santos. Although it is 4 that's currently slated to hit. But it does look like Noah Powell, who started the game in the 2 spot, is swinging on deck. So they're going to make that change back to the original lineup after this at-bat is over. 3-2. Fly ball right field. Playable for Catani. And he secures the first out of the inning. So Kaysen 4 removed from the game. Noah Powell is back in. And the Rebels 2-hole will hit with 1 away. The Bennett Rebels have had 2 base runners on in every single inning of this ball game. But Wynant trying to keep things clean and crisp here in the 7th. He throws a first pitch spinner that's off the inside part of the plate, 1-0. Tate Johnston is still getting ready down the line in case another pitcher is needed. Out of the windup, 1-0 pitch. Low and away. 2 balls and no strikes. 5-run lead for the Kingsmen, looking for their first varsity win since last Tuesday when they beat ECA, Eastern Carolina Academy, by a final score of 12-3 in Goldsboro. 2-0, the pitch from Wynant. Fastball, hammered to the second base side, sliding play Eli Thomas, who throws to first in time for out number 2. Look at the kid. 2 outs here in the 7th. A beauty of a play from Eli Thomas, and Yandel Santos will come up as the final out for the Bennett School. Eli Thomas having himself a day. A hard hit ball that was caught in center, a single, and now a nice play in the field. Brody Wynant trying to finish the job here against Santos and the Rebels. First pitch. In the dirt, scooped cleanly by Catron. 1-0. Bases are clear here with 2 away. The 7th and final inning of this one. The Kingsmen trying to keep Bennett off the scoreboard for the 5th consecutive inning and route to a win. 1-0 pitch. Off the outside corner, 2-0. Expecting Nehemiah Barnes to be on the mound for the Kingsmen in tomorrow's varsity game. We'll see who they match up against on the Bennett Rebels side. 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Max Raley still in line for the win. Was removed from the game when the score was 5-1. And the score has not budged too much since then in the 3rd. The next pitch in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike. If the game continues, we'll see the cleanup spot. Luke Beck, who was substituted out of the game for J.J. Nolan is swinging on deck, so it looks like he would come back into the game if we see another hitter. Out of the windup, Winan kicks and fires the 2-1. Hooked ball, second base side, backhand scoop for Thomas, throws on to first, and the Kingsmen win the ball game. Final score, the Kingsmen find a way, winning the game 6-1 here on the road in Houston. One that I expect the coaches to call a complete game. Good in the field, quality at-bats at the plate, and exactly what you want to see out of this varsity squad to start the road trip against a really good Bennett school team. The Kingsmen win Game 1 against the Rebels. We'll see a rematch tomorrow, 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern. Coverage begins right here on the Kingsman Baseball Network, as we'll have that for you, and then the prospect team will tip off their week against the Rebels at noon. Thanks for joining us. Once again, the final score is 6-1. I'm Griffin Leonard saying so long from USA, or from Baseball USA, Mendel Field here in Houston, Texas. The Kingsmen win. Thanks for joining us here on the Kingsman Baseball Network.